Well, hello, my babies, and welcome to another wonderful episode of Spiritual Tea Time with Reverend Patience. With this full moon that we just had, I mean, Saturn is now going into Pisces, and we had the Virgo full moon. A lot of people are all up in their fields, and this is a time, people, to really, especially this past full moon, and we're still in a lot of its energies, especially in the releasing energies, to release those negative mindsets and get those in-depth healings on the painful and hurt divine feminine that is within us, and recognizing what aspects of the divine feminine that is wounded and what needs to be healed. Because, like we talk about all the time, people, if you're not in equal balance, you're going to be blocked and everything. And real quick, a shout out to my baby sister, Mama Moon. Hello, baby. She says, hello, y'all. Thank you for joining in tonight. So, ladies, definitely, this is a time to really doing that in-depth spiritual cleansing, so you can get out with, like, hey, think of it as spiritual spring cleaning. Okay. And to help me talk about it, my sponsor is Indigo Psychics, which I'm proud to be a spiritual life coach and advisor for. I am having my fellow spiritual advisor and spiritual life coach towards the ladies. Her specialty is helping women heal from their time through narcissistic abusive relationships. And trust and believe me, she is an awesome lady. She has some awesome courses. And so I'd like to welcome her back. Her name is Miranda Wyatt. Hello, beautiful. How are
Hey.
you?
Good.
Welcome back to the show. How are you doing, darling?
I'm feeling good.
How are things going on down there where you are in the deep, deep south in Bama?
Yeah. Bell City.
Yes.
Yeah, everything's good. Right now, I actually have the window open with a fan in it, and my neighbor is lighting up the good stuff again, and it's wafting into my room. So he's smelling that the entire time. We're
Unplugged
so
from the drama, getting to with big numbers, what I call it,
yeah.
girl. Yeah. Unfortunately, up here in Minnesota, Mother Nature's going through her bipolar phase, and she can't
Hmm.
make no time. She wants snow, rain,
Hmm.
be sunny and warm. The 1 minute it's 40 degrees, next minute it's 20 degrees and snow. Girl, bye.
Hmm.
1 minute you're supposed to be getting 6 inches, the next following day it says on the same day nothing, zip. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
they have all this fancy equipment and everything, thinking that they can predict exactly what Mama Nature's going to do and everything.
Hmm.
And just like, they try to do to us women for the longest
Hmm.
time,
Hmm.
trying to control and predict and, do everything.
Hmm.
And especially because of growing up with conditioning of the home and
Hmm.
churches we grow up in,
Hmm.
growing up in the Bible Belt, us girls, you and I both know what it's like. As we start going through our spiritual path, a lot of us, and I had to get on my sister, and I'm calling you out, baby girl. Okay, yes, I'm pointing at you, ma'am, on moon. Where because they're too afraid to truly
Yes.
heal and start making those baby steps. They start chasing everything external, saying all the external prayers and doing all the external rituals and lighting all the candles, and they can't understand why it's not happening, why
Mm-hmm.
things are not manifesting. And like I was mentioning before, we don't talk about how when we have the divine feminine in us that's hurt and damaged and not healed, especially in dealing with the inner child. Um, how do you, when someone comes to you and that deems to be, the problem of their blockage and everything, um, how would you start helping someone recognize where their blockages are when dealing with that?
So we have to look at weird habits that people do out of fear, and that can be stuff that might not make any sense or might not be helping them out. Like um, they're they're competitive, because like let's say somebody's feeling real competitive. When they walk in the room, they don't look around and just see people that are just kind of living their life. They look around and they think to themselves, okay, what's the pecking order? Where does everybody fall in? Where do I fit in? And who's trying to one up me? And it's always that, and they're coming from that point. And
Mhm.
um, that being uh, and there's plenty of men that do that too. So it's not like wounded feminine would be something that just women have. It's not. This is anybody, but that is a wounded feminine because it's fear of not being good enough, and it's looking around thinking, okay, which girl is doing better than me, and how do I get rid of that? Not what it's about. We're not supposed to be doing that. We're not here to crush each other. We're here to raise each other up all at the same time. But there would be a woman figure like in your life who would um, hurt you in some way and make you feel like you had to compete or always had to be better or do better in some way to make sure that you were always, at the top, remaining at the top. Anybody comes in and tries to push you aside, you elbow them, and you say, "No, I'm still doing better than you. Sorry, loser." It's all you can do to maintain that, and it's forever trying to get certificates, trying to network, trying to like know the best people and or whatever. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to put your that kind of pressure on yourself like that. But there's so many people that do, and it's just the need for acceptance and affirmation um, and to put on airs and graces and have this image, that and have people there's people that will always like try to have people wondering, oh, how does she do it? How did she manage that? Because they, what I mean? Like, I don't know what the word is for that, but, and there's a lot of that. And you don't have to make it look like you're working miracles underneath it all. And everybody's just, looking at you like, wow, how did she do that? How did you do that? That's so amazing. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, you're worrying about how you look instead of what you're actually doing. And that's two different things.
Mhm.
So, but
Oh
typically,
yeah.
yeah, but that comes from somebody very early in your life, making you feel like you would have to do that for attention or approval, from the parent, the mother or the grandmother, the aunt, whoever raised you, that was a female figure. And it just, you're doing that when really we should be joining hands and raising each other up. And instead, it's that competition shit. And it doesn't get anybody anywhere because
Oh
everybody
no.
else is just going to go live their life. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change. It's not going to change anything.
Exactly. Exactly. Trust and believe me, when I had, could totally relate to that because I remember one time, um, always being compared to my mom and about how she
Mm,
always got straight A's and she was little Miss Perfect
mhm.
and I never did this. Why aren't you like? Why? Aren't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember I got grounded one time because I didn't come home with straight A's. I came home with straight B pluses. Your average parent would be happy about that, but I got
Mhm.
grounded for the next 9 weeks
Yep.
until I brought them up to at least A
Yep.
minus.
Yep.
Having you know people don't realize how much the influence of having that toxic femininity in your life
Mhm.
causing the damage of the, the, because we, like you're saying, it's not just women too. We both have male and female
Hmm.
negative and positive energies within
Yeah.
us. And that feminine energy, that feminine divine gets damaged in our inner child from the toxic female figures that we have in our lives. Whether, like you
Yeah.
said, it could be your mama, an auntie, grandmother, you know,
Mm.
teacher, whatever, close friend of the family, was always putting that and always trying to make you compare and always, and that's like that
Yep.
causes that lack mindset, a scarcity mindset, not having enough attention, not enough of the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and I see all of the communities where people are just being jealous over the slightest. Oh, they got more one like with me. How come my customer's going to you,
Hmm.
dude? Like I tell people, when I first restarted doing the show on the YouTube, when they found out I started doing, because everyone was doing Zoom, nobody in the spiritual, magical, or even paranormal communities was using StreamYard. I was the first one
Yep.
brought it. And I literally had over 200 people I haven't spoken to in a hot minute, didn't even realize because they were so up in their own little world, not realizing they were stalking me the whole time, see what my next move was. All in my,
Yeah.
what platform do you use? Oh my God, what is this? This is so cool. Oh, okay. Okay. You
Yeah.
know your true colors and everything. Okay, block and delete, block and
Mhm.
delete, block and delete. Thank you for revealing to me that, you're all about how you can, one up and everything.
Yeah.
Like I tell people all the time, honey, let them steal the recipe. There's a missing ingredient that will make it different and make it always unique. It's not, the missing ingredient is you, baby. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't compare to yourself to others. Oh, and then because if you always have yourself and that, working on your healing, you'll realize I don't need to be in competition
Mhm.
with me, myself, and I, bettering myself to
Yeah.
be a better person, realizing I make it a part of my routine, that daily making baby steps every day and everything, wanting to work on that healing. Because so many people, when they start going through this process, um, how would you make someone realize that they don't have to do everything all at once? Because so many people, when they start working on this healing process, think they got to do everything now, not realizing, they can take, their
Yep.
time and their steps and everything. How do you comfort somebody when they come to you to make them realize, this is, a day by day process?
Mhm. The same way that I've had to comfort myself, and that is to remind myself that, and anybody else, that you are an individual. Your life is not going to be like anybody else you know. You can
Amen.
have some, yeah, you can have similarities. You can have the same, cultural background, same genetic background, both from the same state, whatever. That's only going to go so far. The two of y'all are still, two separate people, and it, with your lives not being any really not that similar in most ways, how can you compare? Compare what? you
Preach,
know,
honey.
yeah.
Say it
So
one more time for the folks in the back. Girl, it drives me
compare
crazy.
what?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, because
You
you're
know,
not the same.
uh-huh. I mean, I can totally get it because me and my work besties, we say
Yep,
relatable stories to show that, honey,
yep,
not that we're trying to, and we know that we're not trying to one each other. We just tell
yeah.
the stories like we do and everything and literally finish each other's sentence to let each other know, girl, you are not the only one going through it, and I got your
Hmm.
back. I feel your pain. You know,
Hmm.
people, too many times don't know the difference
Hmm.
and everything. When someone's trying to, I'm telling you a relatable story, not because I'm trying to one up you. It's just to show that you're not the only one out here. Because too many of us think that we are the only. You don't understand. You'll
Hmm.
never. You'd be surprised. There's a lot more who've gone through similar things, just like you have.
Hmm.
And you got to learn, and part of your healing process, not only give yourself love and respect, but also to your fellow human beings who are going through the same thing, and realize, you know you can help each other out with the
Yeah.
healing process and be, that support system. because that's what's sad. Because we are so raised to, especially us women, to be each other enemy, always be one
Mhm.
up. Making sure her hair or that fashion or that trend, keeping up with the Joneses, as they
Yeah,
say.
yeah,
And perfect day. This is International Women's Day. And, yeah, I didn't post nothing on my page this year because it's really associated with international socialism, and I'm not really into that. But, anyways, every day should be International Women Days because we need
yeah,
to give more love and respect, not only to our fellow human beings of the flesh, but also the ladies of recognizing whether you like it or not. I don't care what your faith is, the feminine divine within.
yeah.
And so when someone comes to you, especially if they grew up like in our background in deep Bible Belt, how do you help them start? Because I know a lot of them will still be in the closet spiritually and
Mm.
everything. Help them recognize that this ain't no mumbo jumbo crazy demonic thing, talking about the feminine divine, and making them realize, this is actually a crucial step in your healing process.
That's a good question. Well, I will say that hardcore religious women are not typically drawn to me, probably because they already know, something's up with me.
Joe
So
Biden, preach,
I
baby.
don't, yeah. So I don't really, I think, yeah. So I don't deal with them as it were too much. They don't, usually I attract the ones that just think like me, more open minded and more into the same shit. And
More spiritual,
yeah, and
not
just not afraid
religious.
to experiment. Yeah, and not afraid to ask questions, not afraid to explore because and I grew up in Catholic school, so and we really couldn't
Oh, I
answer and
feel you.
ask questions in there. Yeah, I used to get real smart aleck on my tests, and I would get angry because it didn't make any sense to me. So under the teacher's questions, I would write my own questions out to her, and I would say crazy stuff like, well, first of all, this story doesn't make any sense because if so and so said blah, 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 then why in the world would they blah, blah, blah?
Right?
If blah, 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 and then why the hell blah, 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 that makes no sense. Three. And I would like shoot that back her. And finally, at one point, in like sixth grade, I was failing religion class for real because they were so
Oh, I bet
angry.
you were. I
I
bet
was,
you were, because
I
girl, I
just,
know. I, trust me, they don't
so
like questioning. Uh-uh.
yeah,
That's
yeah, it's not,
that's being a heretic.
I don't know how I got out of there. I don't know how I finished. Like, I just don't know how I
Right?
did it. I guess I just went along with it, but yeah, these days I pretty much draw in the ones. I guess if like a really religious girl was drawn to me for some reason, and I had to explain it to her, I would just explain it in the simplest terms I could, in the best way I could, like I do for everybody. And if she vibed with it, fine. If not, fine. She doesn't have to work with me. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
Right.
But I gotta be clear and honest about what I do and how I do it so that people who see it see me through all of my work, and they
Right.
can say, okay, this girl vibes with me or this girl doesn't. It's one or the other, and it's fine either way. I'm like, but I'm very straightforward about my personality and how I work and the things I say and the things I talk about to make sure that people know exactly what they're dealing with when they come to me. You know what I mean? I would rather just be straightforward. Look, this is it. This is what
Yeah.
you're gonna get. Take it or
Yeah.
leave it. It's cool. There's other people in
Amen.
life, so it's good. Yeah.
Exactly. Like we say all the time, you're not a bakery. We don't sugarcoat nothing here. We're gonna be
Yeah.
straightforward. This is
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
is. And if you
Yeah.
don't like it, there's plenty of others out there. I'm not
Yeah.
thirsty. I'm not desperate. I'm not going to chase you
Yeah.
down. I'm not going to, as they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink,
Yeah.
you know? And I totally respect that. Unfortunately, not everyone does, and you see all these, people out there, like I said, having that competitive mindset because they're
Mm.
programmed to be that way. And then when you try to confront them about healing certain parts of themselves, they don't want to work and because they
They're
want to,
scared. Yeah.
yeah, and because they refuse to work they wonder why, nothing's manifesting, and they're this little
Hmm.
spiritually, they're literally the little hamster in the wheel, spin and spin, spin, but not going nowhere
Yeah.
and everything. And that's one of the things I, tell people all the time, take advantage of your sleep, use that, healing on the subconscious while you
Hmm.
sleep, because I know I can get it, coming even to a life coach could be too triggering for somebody.
Hmm.
So in a simple and easy way to work on that feminine, or whatever it is that you need to work on that you need to be healing, listening to the different subliminals and the, Savaggio frequencies
Yeah,
and take
yeah,
advantage of your sleep,
yeah.
you know, it's that simple. I've had so many, oh, there's got to be a catch. No, there
No,
isn't.
it's
You
not.
keep,
There doesn't have to be. This is
exactly, because
real.
what you keep speaking out, you keep on, saying things are hard. You're telling the universe you want it to be that way,
Yeah,
because you keep on concentrating on the problems instead of
yeah,
trying to concentrate on solutions and asking
yeah.
them to come to you easily and effortlessly, you know. Haha. Real quick, I want to say a shout out to the Gotha Rican of New York. She says, "Meow, my queens." I quick tune in, love and kisses. Mm. And Mama Voodoo says, "Groans and hisses" from Vegas of the Weird Sisters. Thank you for joining us. Like I said, if this is your first time here, please like and subscribe. It's help get that algorithm out there for us. Our show is sponsored by Indigo Psychics, which we are proud to be a part of. I'm myself, Reverend Patience, and Miranda Wyatt, one of our life coaches with Indigo Psychics. And like I said, tonight we're talking about the importance of healing that, feminine divine within you. And, because so many of us, are not recognizing that shadow work that you need to take care of. And, it's causing all this blockage, no matter if you're a spiritual or religious person. You
Yeah,
wonder why your prayers are not manifesting. You got to get that work done. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I see a little one in the background.
That's my son. Yeah,
Hey there, sugar britches.
yeah. He's being good.
Nothing wrong with that at all. So when someone comes to you with, in working with the, what would you recommend as one of like the first basic steps of starting the healing process of working with, healing that, divine part of the feminine within self?
Just to look at yourself and give yourself a break, and to tell yourself, look, um, and address yourself however you want. I, we, whatever. Some people do it plural. I don't. It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Just look at yourself in the mirror and just say, you know what?
Whatever your pronouns are.
Yeah, I'm human. I'm not, some disaster that needs to be fixed. I'm not some. We're not fixing stuff like it's broken. We're transmuting it. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it to start with. It just needs, some transformation. But people think that there's so much wrong with them, and they think they have to really come from a point of self defense and stuff like that because they're afraid to look at all the things that are wrong with them. You don't have to look at it that way because that's not fair to yourself, and
True.
you can't. Yeah, you can't grow when you're sitting there pulverizing yourself with your words every day. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Cut yourself a break and just look at
Mhm.
yourself and say, you know what? I'm not screwed up. I just haven't figured some things out yet, and that's just my room's a hot spot. We got somebody visiting, so the sleeping arrangements are a little goofed up. Um, but anyway, you look at yourself and you give yourself a break and you say, you know what, I'm human. I've done things that I didn't approve of or whatever, but I'm not some person who's just beyond repair, and I don't have to live from defense mode because the world is not against me. It's not here to destroy me. It's just here to teach me things, and that's it. It's just lessons. It doesn't have to be stuff that just totally derails you and makes you think you're worthless. And now you've got to put on all this armor so that nobody figures out how bad you feel about yourself.
Right.
There's so much to it, and you don't have to do all that shit to yourself every day. You just
Hmm.
accept that you are where you are right now, and that's okay to be there. It's okay to be at your level, whatever that is. It's not a sin, just chill. It's
Exactly.
fine. You're learning. It's fine. And just leave it at that. So, because people are so hard on
Expression.
themselves and they can't learn. Yeah. Yeah.
that it's a daily process,
Yeah.
making those baby steps. You just got to
Yeah.
change. Like I tell people all the time when they, come to me, I always remind them, it's part of making it your daily routine. Like making simple little changes, like using aromatherapy as part of your healing process, like
Mhm.
changing your body wash, your shampoo,
Mhm.
your cleaning products for your clothes and your house and everything.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, make it a part of your daily process.
Yeah.
Little changes like that. So it automatically comes up subconsciously as a part of your routine. Because,
Yeah.
like you said, we got to be careful about the words we speak over ourselves because that's still verbal abuse.
Mhm.
That's that self sabotage.
Mhm.
I call people out all the time about it and everything.
Mhm.
Oh, they hate it, and I don't care because
Yeah.
I want people living their best lives. And if I catch you speaking over yourself, no, you wonder why your life's going. Look at what you're saying. Look at what you're
Mhm.
telling the universe.
Mhm.
Like when ladies go, like all the time when I used to help my husband run a beauty supply store at the Twin Cities, young girls would be looking for new hairstylists to do their hair, and I said, you need to be careful. You need to be picky because they're working on your crown. And if you get
Yeah.
somebody who's negative, who's constantly speaking and gossiping and talking negative BS and everything, that's going, and you feel
Right
like,
in.
exactly. And then you wonder why you feel like crap and everything. That's why for the longest time, I would always end up doing my own hair because I went to school for cosmetology, and I
Oh,
was
that's good.
very particular about who touched my crown, and because of that type of foolishness
Mhm.
and everything. Oh, real quick, Sherry Watson says, "Hi, ladies. Thank you for this." And
Hey.
she says, "I've changed the look of my phone screen." Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having doing little things in your life to give you inspiration and keeping you positive, you know, making those little daily little steps.
Mhm.
Don't get frustrated, because so many people, because we have this instant gratification society and world, expect, us to be like Hollywood, where we can twitch our nose like Samantha or bob our head like I Dream and Genie, and then instantaneously everything's going to be okay. That's not real life, you know?
Mhm.
And like the old Asian saying says, the trip of 1,000 miles starts with a step,
Mhm.
you know, make those baby steps. Trust me, they're
Yeah.
going to add up quicker
Yeah.
than you realize.
Yeah.
Ivy Morel says, "Hey, ladies, thanks for me. I love your show, and I'm here for more. I love your thrift store too. Bought a pair of shoes from there, and now I'm walking around town listening to the show. Thank you
That's
for
cool.
joining in, honey. Um, Definitely, like we're talking about tonight. It's all about starting with those baby steps.
Mhm.
You know, and a part of healing of the divine and realizing our adult selves need to start embracing our inner child and everything. If you didn't have the love that you deserve from your grandmother, your auntie, your mama, the female teachers, whatever it was that caused that damage, you need to realize that it's time for you to give yourself that love, for you to hold the hand or give that inner child the hug or snuggle and rock it and cradle it
Yep.
and reassure it that everything is okay. We
Yep.
got this, you know, as part of their ha ha ha. Sherry Watson says Miranda's page has been emotional ER for me, helps bring me back around to baby steps. Yes.
I live to serve. I really do.
And oh, my girl Jamie, my fellow DSPs, how I love my inner child. Little steps at a time.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or, enjoying. Dude, I love indulging. Hey, I don't care if you're in your 40s or your 30s or whatever, or you're in your 20s. You still like doing your cartoon Hello Kitty or kawaii type of stuff, or collecting your, Monster High. Go ahead. I
Hmm.
shoot. You see my dressing room that I have and everything, known as the bee cave. I got my Hello Kitties and my stuffies. I got squishmallows and everything on my day bed. I got stuffies. Yeah, so what if I'm almost 50 years old? I'm not going to deny my inner child
Yeah.
because a part one of the things I like to teach for myself when showing ladies how to start the healing process of divine feminine within them is recognizing the holy trinity of self. That no matter what age this is, the flesh, we still have the maiden, the mother, and
Yep.
crone within us. And we still need to nurture all three
Yep.
aspects. And that's the problem. As we become adults, too many of us are not wanting to recognize that we need to do that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. She says, Jamie, this is her full say. She says, oh, how I love my inner child, especially when it eats gummies.
Mm-hmm.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Um, Sherry says, I've been looking at my baby picture every day and I try to remember loving her over again. That is a great
Oh,
step in
that's really
everything.
good. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Really
get the
good.
favorite picture of yourself from when you were a
Mm-hmm.
child and start telling that little girl and everything,
Yeah.
you are beautiful, you are smart, you are loved, you are protected, you are divine, and because like it's always tell people, we are walking magnets, okay? And like the whole reason, like the topic of tonight's show, the reason why you're being blocked, because you have that negative spots on your divine feminine within you that's causing those blockages because you're refusing that healing. Once you
Mm-hmm.
start working on that healing, you'll start seeing things pop,
Mm-hmm.
talking from experience
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Trust me, my stubborn behind, it took me a minute. Trust me, it took me
Me
a
too.
hot damn minute, especially after the third one finally put me in the hospital to make me realize, girl, you need to demagnetize what, because
Mm-hmm.
at each different body, but it's getting that demon's getting worse and worse and worse and everything. And so when I went through my personal, healing and started realizing what was magnetized, that I finally be able to find my fourth and favorite. When people see me and my husband now, they think that we've been together 30 something years. And it's like, no, we've actually only been married for 4 years. He had to go through his foolishness and I had to go through my foolishness because of what we happened to us as, children growing up. And until we even both recognized if we
Yep.
had learned those lessons of what we went through and making us realize what we truly deserved and what we truly did not want in our life, especially when it comes to a life partner in our life, we would not have been ready for each other. We would have killed each other. Oh my God, girl, we would have killed each other.
I know. I know the feeling.
Gotham Rican says, boom, I've said the same every day, International Women's Day. Exactly. Sherry says, y'all's words are oxygen. Ivy says, whoops, sorry, I didn't read the guideline first, sharing the town I live in. Whoops. Thank you for sharing, girl. Child, it's okay. You can
It's fine.
share all
Yeah.
you want. You know, I don't mind. You know, she lives, just out in the little thrift store that I work in. It's in Moore, Minnesota. So if you
Mm.
are from Minnesota, come up and visit. Come in and say hi. All proceeds go to a great cause. It's ran by a nonprofit called Phase Industries, which I'm proud to be a part of. We work with people who are physically disabled and on the autistic spectrum, to help give them and train them to be as independent as possible, by training them for jobs. And that thrift store
That's
that I
good.
work at is one of the facilities for training ground. And I love it. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's
I
good.
could not ask for better people with great worth ethic.
Mm.
And that's, you know, gives me the inspiration to have that same type of, worth ethic. And we always play upbeat music because we believe, like Snow White says, whistle while you work.
Mhm.
And so think about it that way, people. When you start, people, think it has to be so regimental. You know, you got to do what works best for you.
Mm.
Maybe not working with me or maybe not working with Miranda. It could be somebody else that you're working with. But the whole point is making that first step of wanting to get that healing done. Because you all deserve to be the beautiful queens that you deserve to be, living that full life as mothers and lovers and daughters and grandmothers and the women of the world. Okay? How do you expect us to start gaining back our power if we've refused to work on our healing? That's the only way we're going to get anywhere is us working on ourselves first. And the
That's right.
first step is getting over the guilt. Because
Mm,
all around the
yeah.
world, I've seen it in all cultures,
Yeah.
of us feeling guilty because we're mothers and everything and daughters and we're obligated to do this and obligated, oh, you can't have time for yourself and everything. You're being neglectful. And well, the thing is, how do you expect us to be caretakers of our families and of the world if you don't allow us to have that time to recuperate?
Hmm.
You expect
Yeah.
us women and everything to, keep doing.
Yeah.
If, you know, but as soon as we try to do something for ourselves, they try to guilt shame you and,
Hmm.
oh, God forbid, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. And we do it to each other.
Oh God, yes. Because
No,
like I
yeah.
said, we're raised to have that subconscious, you know, cattiness, and that's why I've always
Mhm.
tell people, tell my ladies and everything, because talking from experience, because I've seen it happen too many times, and so many ladies tell me the worst hairstyles and haircuts they've ever gotten was from a fellow woman,
Mhm.
and the best
Yeah.
hairstyles and the best laid slay that they've gotten of dues and everything has always been from a gay man or a straight
Hmm.
man, because they want you looking as fabulous as possible because they know that you are they're an artist and you're their walking masterpiece. Because as
Mm.
soon as someone sees how they slayed that dude, they're gonna be like, oh girl, who did your hair? You're gonna tell them, oh, my girl that, or so and so and blah blah blah, got her hair done by so and so. And I've done that many times. When I didn't feel like doing my hair, I would literally call around and everything.
Mm.
People could just say that I'm biased, because it's only because of my personal experience.
Right.
I
Yeah.
I know precisely for the longest time what styles, from short, medium, and long, look
Mm.
best with my face shape.
Mm.
So when I come in there and persistently say I want a blunt style, that's what I
Mm.
mean. Don't be
Yep.
going in there and putting your little thing in there. No. And that's one thing I liked about always going to them, the guys and everything, is because you tell them precisely what you want. And it's like, oh, girl, sure, no problem. And they're going to make you look as fabulous as possible, you know? Sherry says, yes, we have to love our sisters who are and have been and will be, and then we can heal. Yes, it's
Yeah.
very true. We need
Yeah.
to recognize we are not the competition. The
Yeah.
competition is us trying to better ourselves than what we were before. And,
Yep.
and that's what we need to realize. It's not, the competition is never out. And that's what we need to break the programming of, and
Mm.
making these babies realize, you know, your person next to you is not your enemy.
Hmm.
And that's how they
Yeah.
keep us, suppressed and everything, is and at each other's throats.
Yeah.
And she's got a skinnier waist than me, or her skins look prettier than mine, or her dude's more, oh my goodness. But I'm, it just breaks my heart to see that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you would think by now, being in the century we're in, it wouldn't be as bad, but unfortunately, we're still having to fight it. I mean, look
Yeah.
what happened with Roe versus Wade.
Hmm.
I'm very blessed with certain decisions I've made in my life that was not in effect, or I'd be sitting in jail right now, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Yes, I do.
know,
Yeah. I feel you.
and because of the hurt I went through, and the reason why I made those decisions in my life is because I didn't want to bring
Hmm.
them in to this world because of the heartache I went through. I didn't
Hmm.
want them to have to experience that. And
Yeah.
if I'm wrong and selfish and that makes me burn in hell and I'm evil for it, then so be it. At least they didn't
I'm
have to
right there
experience
with you.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, please don't
Yeah.
reincarnate name back into this life. Trust me, the earth is not worth it. Go to a different
Mhm.
planet or somewhere. Wait a couple hundred more years or something, you know? Yes, Sherry, that is true. We have sisters suffering from all over the world. And it
Mhm.
sadly is, we have it in our own backyard.
Mm, yeah.
And that's the problem, like with powers that be that runs this country, and a lot of people, they always want to help everybody else.
Mhm.
They don't want to recognize that we have these problems in our own, because we're America.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the
Yeah. We've
land of,
got hungry kids here.
exactly. And
Yeah.
and single mamas that are abandoned with children, our elderly that need to be taken care of, and all that
Yeah.
kind of good stuff. And I mean, even like former President Jimmy Carter, he's, he's the only Democrat I've ever liked because he's still in his 90s, still working with HUD homes and building, for the needy and everything. And the way that true mindset of, because he even tells them, don't be preaching that you're supposedly a Christian country when you don't want to help the sick and the poor and everything. You look for every excuse not to. You try to screw them over any way you can so you can line your back pocket,
Yep.
and it that's why it's so crucial, people, that we start working on ourselves and get. I mean, come on. We had this pandemic,
Right.
whatever the freak you want to call it.
Yeah.
We were all stuck at home. You can tell that
Thinking.
a lot of folk, it freaked them the F out because, oh my God, I'm stuck home with myself. Not alone just
Hmm.
worried about stuck home with family, but themselves is the couldn't
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah.
And you would think with people being stuck at home that they would, a lot of people did, but unfortunately, a lot of people didn't, you know, and ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yep. Mama Voodoo says people don't like the truth, and that's very true. And yes, the sex slave, trade is causing pain. It's been around for
Mm.
a long time, honey. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, with it going on, until the powers that be, have something major happen to them,
Hmm.
it's going to be a hard thing to ever stop.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, some form kind of slavery has always been going around.
Hmm.
Thing, whether it be dealing with the sex trade and with women and children, you know
Yeah. We have not conquered slavery. It's not. It's
it
not
just keeps
out of
on
off our
moving
hands.
in different forms and everything, and that's the scary and sad part, you
Yeah.
know and that's why it's so crucial that we work on healing ourselves, because once you start learning to love yourself and recognizing and falling in love with the flaws and making you realize that what makes you that unique character, and learn from the wisdom of your uniqueness, you won't tolerate being disrespected and not receiving that true unconditional love. When people
Yep.
don't give, you're going to be, what, boundaries up.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we're going to, and then if we start doing that more together on the individual level, we're going to want to be with magnetizing to like-minded people.
Mm.
That's, working on that. Sherry says collective divine energy can heal. It requires truth. Yes,
Hmm.
we got to
Yeah.
start coming back together. Gotharican says facts. I think the pandemic was a means to have people really reflect on themselves overall. And it was. It
Yeah.
really was.
Yep.
But unfortunately, like I said, a lot of us did, but a lot of us didn't. Because trust me, some of the people I got to deal with on the level face to face customer
Hmm.
service, woo,
Yeah.
child,
It's
I'd
tough.
rather be around my participants any day than some of these fools I got to deal with.
Hmm.
And they're considered normal people. And it's like,
Hmm.
oh, the bitterness and the hatefulness that these people
Yep.
have, it really makes your heart break. It
And
really
they
does.
inject it. Yeah, it does. And they inject it into little things, and they pick on you, and they're explosive over little
Mm,
stuff when they're like shopping around. I'm thinking you're just shopping around in a store. Why are you so angry? But they're not pissed off about that. They're pissed off about something else in their life that's way bigger that they can't control, and they're just trying to direct it to something else, so they can just
yep.
point a finger. The parole employee standing behind the desk doesn't have anything to do with you not being able to make your house payment, or somebody going to the hospital and you can't deal with it or whatever. It's just like, I'm sorry, but you can't, you know, shove that down somebody else's throat. It's not, it's just, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't want to sound like a jerk, but at the same time, it's got to be said, just,
Oh, that's why they call me the meanest person, because I literally have a sign where it has a B and it said, and then the word kind for representing be kind, and then the
mm,
plaque underneath it says if you can't be kind, be quiet. And I've
yeah,
said it to a few people, since you can't be kind, and you can't be quiet, there's the door, and don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you. Because I even told our new
yeah,
HR lady, I said, you ever hear a bad report from me about how I deal with somebody, and it's 99.9% people always talk about how it's such a positive atmosphere,
yeah,
which and they call it retail therapy, as their getaway from the stresses of the world. So if someone
mm,
comes in with their negative attitude and their check, is bothering everyone's peace, and they're not
Forces
being
you to play the
kind.
therapist.
Exactly. I will
Retail
chew them up.
therapy.
Exactly. So I just tell them straight up, there's the
Yeah.
door. I
Yeah.
won't tolerate your foolishness. And,
Yeah.
and then bless their heart afterwards. Because one thing I can say, even though I have, in the 2 years I've been working there, I've told a few of the hoity-toities off. But one thing you can say, being the good old Southern belle that I am, the Southernese that I can speak, I know how to use my eloquent, sweet words like a true Southern belle and lady.
Mhm.
And like I said, bless their heart afterwards without cussing them out one time, but making them
Yeah.
feel like they were this small. You know what I'm saying? Oh, especially when it comes to they think they can treat my participants some kind of way.
Mhm.
My number one rule is when you come in there, you will treat everybody with love and respect.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I was raised. It wasn't respect and love is earned. No, you automatically give it until
Yeah.
that person proves that they are unworthy of my
Right.
respect and love. Then that's a different story. Because me
Right.
being the Capricorn with the Scorpion rising, honey, those are the freaking signs in the zodiac. I will act like
Yeah.
I will turn into an owl, like the owl on my shirt. Go who? I don't
Yeah.
know who. I don't know who you're talking about. What I say? I don't know. I don't know nothing. Cut. Mama Voodoo says, "Oh my God, you should see Lady TA's personal room." Bahaha. I know. And she also says, "Wow, this is why I keep repelling people. I'm the wrong kind of man."
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a lot of fake BS that's where you're at in
Yeah.
Vegas, honey, and that's why you keep repelling the wrong people. Because I'm playing
Mhm.
my defense mechanism is laughter and sarcasm. Oh, we know that, honey. That's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
mom. That's the grandmommy, Maman Brigitte in you, baby.
That's
I
right.
wouldn't want to even be tell you of my past. Oh, we know, Mama. It's all good. Um, Definitely, it's okay to use that type of stuff because, like I said, when those people come around you with that negative, well, first thing is
Mhm.
of the healing process is
Mhm.
learning not to feel guilty for self care.
Yeah.
True self love is not being narcissistic. Can
Yeah.
you please give a good definition of between the two? Because so many ladies, especially, as soon as they start talking about self love and self care, they think they're being a selfish narcissistic. You know what? Can you
Yeah.
explain what is the difference?
So a narcissist is basically a person who has really created a fantasy world, and they believe themselves to be absolutely faultless in ways that are just out of this world, and they carry themselves that way because they've built such a heavy shield to
Mhm.
protect their inner child, which is hurting because it didn't get attention or whatever. Everybody it has an inner child that's wounded, like because we were all kids at one point. So the narcissist isn't special or different, but in that way. But their problem is that they're doing such extreme. They're taking such extreme measures to put up protection that
Mhm.
they create a fantasy world, and everything about them is based on lies, and they have a fake identity, a fake personality. They may not think it's fake, they may not be aware of it, or them. I think they're probably not aware of it in a way, and they just kind of they're aware when they hurt other people and when they use other people, but I think that they don't realize that they don't have any kind of like self identity because they can't connect with themselves because they're so separate from their inner child. But at the same time, the inner child seems to be running the show because they do shit that kid needs, like
Mhm.
control and stuff. So they do the control thing with everybody that gets caught in their web. And it's just like this big mess, and they leave a lot of damage and chaos in their wake. Whereas if you're just like a regular person and you're just trying to do nice things for yourself and put yourself first for once, there's something wrong with that because and women especially are having to do both jobs these days. We're having to chase every dollar like men do and grind and how many hours can I work this week to get how much on my paycheck? Okay, I got to figure that out, and just all this other stuff where we're having to make something work and just procure it from nothing and run ourselves into the ground to make simple things happen and work right. And then we come home and then we got to do our other job, and take care of everybody and clean up after everybody until 10 o'clock at night. And, make sure everybody eats, God forbid, make sure everybody has clean underwear on and everything else. And
Right?
so we're doing everybody's job now. And that is why we're so crazy. And
Mhm.
we're laughed at for that and we're mocked. But I don't know. I could go on all night about this. I'm going to try not to. But,
Oh yeah.
so
And then they
yeah,
wonder why the woman is stuck in her masculine, energies and everything, and they're having
have a
because they
choice.
can't
Yeah.
because too many of these young men out here. I'm very blessed. My husband, he's old school and
Mm,
everything, and knows the role of what a man's supposed to be,
mm,
and it's so refreshing because this is the first major relationship in my life where I felt comfortable enough where I
mhm,
could be vulnerable and be comfortable in my feminine energy and everything. Everyone else, because of them being the overgrown f boys that they were, I was constantly
mhm.
having to you know, do all the cooking, do all the cleaning, pay all the bills and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to be truly submissive in my femininity and everything because I'm stuck in masculine mode because
Yeah.
I don't have no choice to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you guys don't want to man up and be in your masculine energy so she can be comfortable within her feminine, don't expect her to be submissive, don't expect her to be soft. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's going to be tough and masculine and everything because you give her no choice,
Yeah. Yeah.
as a
That space
survival
has to be
mechanism.
created. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, for women who are afraid of being selfish or whatever, look, if you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I don't want to do that. That's selfish." First of all, I want you to stop, and I want you to look at everything that you do in a day, or in a week, or in your life, and look at everything you've done and everything you've had to do for other people, and all the times that you've had to shut your mouth to keep the peace, all the times you've had to do something you didn't want to do because somebody else needed it, and you thought you didn't have a choice. And I just want you to look at everything you've done and everything you've been through, and ask yourself in this moment, why in the hell you can't just go take a bubble bath and tell everybody to leave you alone for an hour? What's
Exactly.
wrong with that? So
Exactly.
chill.
Exactly.
Yeah, just do it.
I literally told, like a lot of my ladies, because we've had no choice, who are entrepreneurs and
Mhm.
everything, or, being a single parent, you know, understand you don't have an hour, but at least do 20 minutes, many time a
Yeah,
week. Turn the
yeah,
phone off and tell them, do not
yeah,
disturb me unless the house is burning down. You are fine if 20 minutes and everything. Do not come through this door. Leave me alone and do you, boo. Whether
you got to.
spiritual bath, taking a nap,
Mhm,
listening to your subliminal, but at least
mhm,
take that time to recharge and be for yourself. And if you can't do it during the day, wait until the kids go to sleep. But make
mhm,
sure, literally, I do it for myself because I used
mhm,
to. Hey, I'm guilty of it. You know,
mhm.
literally where you're doing so much for everybody, where you literally work yourself in sick in bed and you're sick with a cold or flu and you got
I've
your
done.
period at the
I've done.
same time, praying
Oh
for
yeah,
them, type of thing. Because
yeah,
it's still trying to help folk. And that's when you got to realize, no, Spirit's literally telling you, stop it. You
yeah,
need to heal. And if they don't like it, oh well, they need to go
yeah.
over there, you
Because
know?
everyone else gets a break.
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Haha, Miss Sherry says, I have shocked some folks since I found Miranda. You got to. Because
That's amazing. That's
when you start getting
honored.
comfortable and not feeling guilty and
Yeah.
everything, for putting up the boundaries and starting to learn to love yourself and not be
Mhm.
that people pleaser in the toxic way and everything, and
Yeah.
being that doormat and realizing, what, once you start realizing with no problem, I have the right to say no. You're
Oh yeah.
never ever going to fully, better yourself. And all you are is a take energy vamp, type person. And
Mhm,
you're literally sucking me dry. Like when babies
mhm.
come up, start out in the business, they're wanting to help everybody. It's like you need to realize not everybody truly deserves your help. Do not feel guilty. You
Yeah.
cannot help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves
You
or
can't
take
be
care of.
responsible for everybody like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
There's no way.
You got
There's
to
no way.
learn who you can truly help. And that's why I stick to my babies and I stick to my elderly and everything.
Mhm.
Everybody in between, unless you are physically handicapped in some way where you're can't be able to take care of
Yeah.
yourself like a vegetable. Other than that, shoot, I know handicapped people who dance ring around half these people who always, oh, girl, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
because they act like overgrown children.
Yeah.
Because like I tell my ladies, the way you can tell about someone who's a true alpha king and a grown male or f boy as these call them now these days is that a grown male is going to be someone who's about getting served, about getting his, what you can do for him.
Hmm.
He ain't gonna care about what you can do. He can do for you. A true alpha, a true king wants to be a service, not only in the service of providing and protecting but his family and his community.
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
mean, enter the species, the true alphas are the ones that are in service of everybody, making sure and
That's true.
everybody's protective and all that kind of good stuff.
Hmm.
And if he's not wanting to see you better yourself and let you be your true self and everything, like I said, allow you to be in your true feminine energy that works for you, then you need to recognize he ain't the one.
Yeah.
Because those F boys are going to be chasing every other woman all over the place because they're not even trying to love you or figure out what it is about you that helps your love language to truly understand
Hmm.
you. And alpha is going to want to know. He's going to want to read you like a book backward and forward and never get tired of the story.
Hmm.
You know. Yep. Gotharica says, "Yep. Self-care and personal development is necessary." Amen. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I
Well, you're doing
totally.
it for yourself. You're not doing that for other people. You don't better yourself. So I mean, other people benefit from it, in a good way, like your children, obviously, or whatever, because you're taking care of them. But to and people will talk a lot about, oh, well, you got to love yourself. You got to love yourself, but nobody wants to explain how to do that.
Yeah.
And that's I like to tell people, to start small with, little acts of self-respect, just like little things, and to get yourself used to it, because you do have to retrain your brain completely. If you've been hating yourself for years or whatever,
Amen.
it's yeah, that is the one of the hardest, or probably, no, it was the hardest transition of my life. And because the neural pathways and all that nonsense, but that's, I mean, it's real. You really do have to just change the science in your brain and change
Yes.
how it operates, and have to train it, and you have to start, from rock bottom. And but like you've been saying, little baby steps, that is how it's done. You can't look at something and be like, okay, I gotta start loving myself. And now what? How do I do that? It's just like, it just feels like you're looking out at the savannah, and it just like goes on for miles and miles. You can't see the end of it. Like, where do I start? What do I do? And so I tell people to just start with, little acts of self-respect here and there, and that can be anything. It can
Yep.
be, cooking something you like to eat, wearing something you want to wear, taking a nap when you're tired, and you get yourself used to being kind to yourself with the simplest things, and
Mhm.
eventually you can build on that, and before you know it, you'll just be living your life however you want, because you can, and you realize it's okay to do that. And then you start doing the job you want to do. You have your house decorated the way you want. You don't have anybody in your life that brings you BS because you don't want it, because you don't deserve it. And you start to see
Exactly.
those things, and yeah, and you know when to say no, like you said, because women, God knows, have been taught that we can't say no. And
Especially in the South, honey.
yeah,
Girl.
yeah, because that's rude. And I'm just like, look, I'm just call me rude. I don't care. It's just like, I don't feel like doing it. I don't feel like dealing with you. I don't, whatever. It's just, I'll live. My life is going to go on. So no, yeah. If you're pissed, you're pissed. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people
Exactly.
get mad at
That's
that,
what the thing, not being afraid of putting those boundaries up and then
but mhm,
realizing you have to love yourself a little bit more and recognize where this person is extremely toxic, whether they be your family,
yeah,
intimate friend, whatever. And,
yeah,
it's not because you don't love them. You ain't got no ill will for them, but you got to realize, sometimes you got to love yourself and recognize, what, you need to go over there.
mhm,
And like I tell
mhm,
people, I can forgive you and love you for the rest of my life and think about you 24/7, but it doesn't mean I'm going to welcome you back because I know better.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah,
I did not forget what you did. I've forgiven
right,
you. And forgiveness is so that I can cut off that energetic tie. I'm not going to hold on to grudge because people holding on to grudge is giving those people power. You think you have power?
And that's
Well,
wounded
I
feminine
thought
as
because you're
well.
holding on to the grudge. No, honey, you were giving them power by
Mhm.
holding on to it. It's like what the Buddha said. That's like you drinking poison, expecting the other person to
Mhm.
die.
Mhm.
No, ain't working, honey. But
Mhm.
girl, it has been fun. I can't believe 60 minutes has already gone by.
I know, it's been
Definitely.
good.
Um, like as always, gonna have you as a regular. Real quick, let everyone know how they can get a hold of you besides, finding you on indigopsychics.com. Any courses, specials, or anything you got going on, tell them away, girl.
Okay, so if you want, I can make it simple. You can go to my website, mirandawyattLifecoach.com, and I have all my courses there, Healing the Wounded Feminine, How to Stop Attracting Narcissists, and also a complete advanced Reiki Master Teacher course as well. I have my offers for 60-minute phone call, 6-week one-on-one with me, 12-week one-on-one. I have the link for the Facebook group if you want to join that. All my social media stuff is on there. If you go to the bottom, you can put your email in and sign up for my updates through email. I don't send a whole bunch, so I won't like overload it. I don't do that. Just like discounts and things like that. I also have an Etsy shop where I sell jewelry I make. So like I do a little bit of everything, but
Amen.
um, right. And my latest thing I've come up with is commissions. So if you don't want to buy any of my courses, and if you just want to make a little bit of money, you can sell my courses to your friends and make $30 a piece on each one. So, and those links are also on the website. So it's just you go to my site, you see it all there.
I love it. I love it. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in tonight. Happy International Women's Day. And remember, ladies, make every day Ladies' Day for yourself. Do a
That's right.
little act of kindness, even if it's the smallest little thing. Just making those little baby steps are going to add up all together. Thank you again for tuning in tonight. Girl, we're going to have fun tonight.
That was
Woo.
good. That was a real good one.
All right, hold on. Internet being stupid, but here we go. Goodbye, y'all. Good night.